All right, hey guys, we just got to talk about this. This is one of the craziest, and if not the most retarded openings I've ever seen in the Olympics. Not just in my lifetime, but I think in the lifetime of the world. Because I literally like went back through videos of recordings of Olympics, in history, even since the time Adolf Hitler himself announced the opening of the one in Germany, all the way to now, and try to look for one that is as close, if not worse than this. And damn, like France took the crown for whatever the hell they conjured upon Earth, because this is one of the most denounced Olympics, the most confusing ones, the most controversial. And Paris themselves saying they're sorry for any offense over the opening ceremony. And trust me, did they not vet this? Like, did they not sit down and think whether this is appropriate in the all sensitive world of the far left? They thought that this would be a great thing to do in today's world. Like, if we didn't have enough problems already, having this thing on the Last Supper would not have enough food on the table for the rest of the people there. Trust me. And on top of it just being weird and awkward, I'm pretty sure it also makes things even more difficult to the LGBT group community per se, because honestly, I'm sure none of them want this to be what they are known for, right? I'm sure there's a lot of them who are just decent people out there who just want to live their own lives and do whatever the hell they want and not be called upon by every single news media article and made a big deal of, like they're the new discovery of the world, like they found some kind of albino tiger living among the city or something. But they treated that way, and then they came up with this guy with his dick and balls hanging out on screen with kids watching TV and all these weird things going on at the table of trying to recreate, the Last Supper in this so like poorly coordinated, poorly timed, out of place. It's just such a confusing event where there was a few things going on. There were people dancing in some different points of the opening ceremony. There were boats arriving to sort of welcome the different countries and the what do you call this participants, and then the crowd was just drenched in rain. None of the crowd was able to even see this show, and they were the ones who actually bought tickets to get into the stadium and see the event, but they couldn't even see the opening ceremony, which is one of the weirdest things in history, because now we have all the technology in the world, and these people were forced to stand in the rain. We couldn't detect it. I literally went through like France's historical data for rain, trying to dig up whether these people could not have possibly predicted the rain on this day. And trust me, even if they could not have predicted this, there were signs that in the past they had patchy rains on this day, thunderstorms in certain years, and partially cloudy, partially light rain. So what all this tells you is that because there is a risk of rain, right? You know that there's a probability. It's always better to have these kinds of ceremonies indoors. And even if you want to bring your participants on ships and boats and whatnot, you could still video stream it to the people in the stadium, because you must understand these people are your guests. You are the host country. That means you are the host. You're supposed to host the event and make people feel welcome, to your place. And it's fine, you want to be green energy and whatever bullshit, you want to do your cardboard bits. All that is fine because there's certain quality to it, and all of that is respectable. But here's the thing, the people who came to watch your event, they can't even see it because they were just drenched in rain. I have a picture of them. I have like a video footage of them. Look at this. This is where the people were standing, trying to get a view of what is actually happening across the river. And look at this, like, even this is the worst part, right? Because people are in rain, they have to hold up an umbrella. And when one person in front of you, let alone 10 people in front of you, are holding umbrellas, even if you are the tallest person in the group, like you have to be the freaking juggernaut to see above and beyond this. And if you're a kid, if you brought your kids to this, just forget it. There's nothing that the kids can do to get beyond this. It's absolutely ridiculous that they thought that this was a good idea, that they had people paid millions of dollars to set this up, billions of dollars to organize this. All of these people should be fired and never allowed to run an event again forever, for the rest of their lives. Just delete them, because this is an atrocity, a crime, and they should be punished the way the people were punished back in the old Olympics. And literally mean that, honestly, because I think we need to bring back some of the original Olympic ways. Even if the athletes were to be allowed to participate in the nude, that's because they are an example of how amazing the human body is. And so you want to have that kind of thing shown to the world. Not this nonsense, and this thing is like literally denounced by the entire world. The Christians are mad, and obviously you would target the Christian religion, right? Like you wouldn't do this to the Muslims. There's no way you would dress everyone up with a bunch of Muslims and have this LGBT parade. I know you won't. You don't dare because you guys are afraid. That's what you all are. You're just cowards and a bunch of people who like to pick on people who are actually being tolerant. And you're just lucky that the Christians are tolerant because you tend to forget that the Christians once went around the world and ruled it and dominated it. And trust me, I'm not even a Christian. I'm not even a Muslim. And I just care about people honestly, and I think that this is not right to be done to any particular group. And taking advantage of the fact that you're trying to, sort of poke at the more tolerant group, expecting that they'll take it. Well, I think that it's time we realize the hypocrisy that's been going on not just the left, but I think honestly these people who they're trying to represent it like this is like some kind of pride parade bullshit that's going on in the Olympics. It's not even relevant to the culture of the time. And let's just do this. Like, let's just go through a time machine about how opening ceremonies have happened in the past, right? Journey through time. This is a very good one. And you can see how back then it's a very much a focus on athleticism and sports. And that's very important because that's what the Olympics is born from, right? It's supposed to be a sort of a tribute to the gods. That was the whole idea of the Olympics. It's a tribute to the gods where people are trying to showcase their strength and their skill, and they're trying to showcase to the gods that they're so grateful for their gifts of their mind, body, and soul that allows them to do all these amazing things, run distances, do pole vaulting, fight, wrestle, have sport, and there's a deeper purpose to sport, right? Because sport is the most civilized way of dealing with conflict, right? And I don't mean real conflict. This is like made up conflict. And this is to show people that we can actually challenge each other and be tolerant and be civilized at the same time. And that is the beauty of sports. And that is one of the things that the Olympic ceremony actually try to celebrate. Every 4 years we do this thing where everyone gets together, puts aside their differences, and works together to try to bring out the best athletes of every country to show how they participate, to push the boundaries of mankind, to push that, our abilities in sports, world records may be broken, people win medals, cheers, blood, sweat, all these emotions that are backing up all these young people who are trying to aspire to be superstars by using their bodies. And it's just a beautiful thing because they really push people to the limits. And look at all these these ceremonies over the years. This is the 100-year one. All of these were absolutely amazing. Some of it I would say is a bit extravagant. Once again, I really feel that it should showcase specifically athleticism and not really just too much of just being a show. Like, what's this guy doing in a paperboat in the middle of the lake, right? It doesn't really help me that much. Like, if he's sailing that boat, that would be pretty cool. Like, I think some of those things are pretty nice and fun. Some of these people, they're actually doing like, awesome dances, the break dance, like even the France one, the guy was doing break dances and whatnot. All that is great. All that is acceptable. These parachutes, I think is one of the James Bond landing or something, right? That they were doing some Bond stuff for the London Olympics. Usain Bolt here, where man, that dude was young back then. Oh my God, it's such a throwback. But this is amazing. Like, look at this. All this is beautiful. And some of these, like, the flame dances and stuff, that would have been pretty cool. I think a lot of these were became more and more artificial over the years, and I kind of didn't really like it. And they became more and more artificial, more and more CGI. And even China, I think, mixed up some CGI with some actual real life display of the drumming and whatnot. Like I really like the drumming and all the physical parts of it, but the CGI part is a bit much. All the fireworks is nice to see, but it doesn't really represent the Olympics. It's not an Olympian thing. It's not a sporting thing to just be launching hundreds and thousands of dollars into smoke. That's not really my favorite bit. But this kinds of shows where these people they are here standing on stage and lighting things up and running around and doing all these awesome stuff. They also had this Assassin's Creed thing going on in the French Olympics. And I think that was pretty cool showing this Assassin's Creed guy running around with the torch and trying to get through these obstacles and whatnot. They should have actually made it more challenging, like an actual video game where he actually has to try to, get past all these guards and sneak his way around. At least shown something cool, something physical, something intelligent that would have, had people actually cheering for or being interested, like, oh, is he going to make it? Like, how does he get past this challenge? How does he get past that challenge? Like, wow, he's so cool. The parkour is so amazing. They could have done something cool like that. But instead, they really, really dug their own graves, didn't they? This is the one at Rio in 2016. This was the last one before all hell broke loose in 2020. This one's also a bit much. I really don't like all this hip hop weird stuff going on. Like all these, like some of these dance stuff is okay, like fine. There's some athleticism because these guys, quite frankly, have to be athletes to be. They're in great shape, right? So you have all of these amazing dance stuff, but it would really be good to see people who are really announcing themselves by means of their physical form, like showcase your talent and strength. If you have a dance, let that be the real highlight. Don't wear all these weird furry stuff, like actually do your backflips, do your awesome dances. Um, and that would have been great. Like, what the hell is this guy doing? Right? Okay. Actually, no, this guy's announcing like, I think his team. So that's fine. That's the way they want to come in. That's whatever, right? It's not really the hosts. What do you call this? Dictating. You want to come in with wearing a bunch of hoodies or hats and all that. That's pretty cool stuff. That's fine. But it's I'm talking about the ceremony itself, the way that you want to showcase your country to the world. Like, some of these girls are dancing. So Brazil has a lot of these dancing culture that's part of inherent to them. They want to show off these people dancing, and part of their culture. And that's fine for that to be a small portion. Like you can do that when you introduce your country, but let the rest of the show be a show for the people. And quite frankly, Brazil, I think, also had to control some of their culture, because there's a lot of like very, I would say, skimpily clad people who do take the streets, and not every child from around the world would want to see that. And you do know children are involved in this Olympics, and they come to see the sport. They come to see the event where people are participating to be stronger and faster and better. And we've changed from the time where people in the Olympics were completely naked and fighting, right? We've gone into a more conservative world, more civilized world, where we wear clothes, we adorn clothes, and we believe that that protects some kind of a civil notion that we are actually civilized, and we are actually in some organized and uniform manner. You see, people wear clothes, right? It's a thing. So so some of those things can probably be controlled, be toned down for the rest of the world, and it's just a matter of tolerance, right? This is very show tolerance to your host. Like for example, if let's say, let's say in theory, you are a nudist family, and it's your right to be a nudist family, but when you know that you're the only, like you're a percentage of the world that has its own views, and the rest of the world doesn't really share it. Like not everyone's going to be a nudist family, right? When you welcome guests over, as much as you would like to be nudist, I think you would first want to know whether they are comfortable with it. And if you don't manage to get that kind of communication going, it's very important that at that point you sort of establish grounds that, hey, we can't really decide this. So let's create like a baseline to what we should be behaving like, right? And that's where law and order comes in. You sort of decide where you want to be in the world. You can't have one country that's just full of nude people. It doesn't make sense. There's civilization, there's workplaces, there's professionalism. There's a lot of these things that you gotta really be in sync with. And that's what matters in civilization, and the foundation, and how families are the crux of it. There's a lot of things that people have to understand, a lot of nuances. And being human, it's kind of complicated, it's kind of tough. You really got to learn a lot of things, and that's what you have schools for, you have parents for, you have family for, you have basically the rest of the world, right? Who's to sort of guide you through this, and to tell you like, hey, we have some common rules, some common ground, some spoken, some unspoken, some written, some unwritten, and we got to learn to be tolerant to each other. So having all this knowledge, let's just take a look at what else happened during the Olympics in 2024 is the opening. So Lady Gaga had this amazing song and opening. All that is fine. You have a song to announce people. Great. That went great. And here come all the countries and the ships. Now, if you look at the crowd, can you see on the left side of the top screen? That's where the crowd was, and some of them got a chance to be on this upper bridge here, but they were just drenched, soaking wet in rain. Most of them were carrying umbrellas, and when people are carrying umbrellas in front of you, there's really nothing you can see beyond them. That's it. You only see their umbrellas, and that's pretty much the show for you. You don't really get to enjoy this long 2 to 3 hour period of just ships sailing past while you're just soaking in rain. And you can even see some of these people who were like this Assassin's Creed guy, right? Where's the dude? This dude. This is pretty cool. Like this dude actually went around. I really wish he did a bit more parkour, a bit more like actually trying to get past people. But there's some weird stuff going on. Like all these people in the construction thingy trying to, I don't know, piece back something. They're doing some contemporary dance on this. But this is also kind of weird because, quite frankly, there's not that many women working in construction. If you really wanted this to be a true representation, you should really pick the people who actually look like they work there, not just dancers for this role alone, and then just, you know, I don't know, it was really just awkward. I don't know what is the idea of that. You could just have the people who actually worked on it just stand there along the rails and ask them just do some cool poses while the camera just pans past them just to give them thanks because those are the people who actually worked on it, right? There's no reason to try to replace them with like dancing women. It just doesn't make any sense. And then going beyond all of that, you have this, yeah, all the ships are coming in. As you can see, people are just on the corners, barely visible, not able to see anything, holding the umbrellas. And you see these people behind you wearing their raincoats. They trust me, they really cannot see stuff. And then it's even worse when everyone is holding their phone in the air. You basically have to watch this through the tallest person's phone because there's really no other reason you're there. And then if you have a kid, it's the worst nightmare in the world because your kid will be crying for most of the time, just asking you to go home because there's really nothing for them to do there. And then you have to just think of a way to convince them, or carry them on your shoulders while they hold the umbrella, which is also not something you can do for 3 hours without discomfort. So it really was one of the worst Olympics. And then there's this weird thing where people are playing music off the balcony windows. Quite me personally, I thought this is kind of cool. This is fine, whatever. It looks really awesome. But again, read the room. Like, is this relevant to what is happening? Because you have these mixed things going on. You have that going on. You get Assassin's Creed guy. You got the ships coming in. It sort of gave me the feeling of the London Olympics, where the London Olympics also was like really crowded with just a lot of random stuff going on, and not all of it actually made sense. Then you have, I think, Mary there with the head in her hands, and then all these blood ribbons. Yeah, awesome. So after all of that, oh, this was pretty cool. All these people on the stilts trying to walk around. This is a real show of balance and athleticism. And as much as you can say that, hey, they can rig that to be strong enough to just hold them up in the air forever, fair enough. But I'm pretty sure they train their ass off to just to get this thing working. And it really is, still a showcase of skill. Like these people can't get on these stilts and just do that overnight. There's no way you'll be able to figure it out. You really have to be able to do this. It is a skill and a talent, and I really like that because that showcases athleticism. And all these people running around the library collecting books have absolutely no reason to be in this footage at all. They play no role. They look, I don't know, completely out of place. Look at this. Look at this amazing thing this lady is doing. Look at that. And then this dude's just flipping papers in the air. Quite frankly, what the hell is wrong with France? What is wrong with France? Why is this guy flipping papers in a cathedral? And this guy just running around looking for, I don't know, paper. But look at this amazing thing. Look at this lady's doing this. That is absolutely amazing. That takes skill, patience, talent, a lot of training, I'm sure, and engineering as well to get these poles and bars to be in the right position. Look at these amazing people. Yeah, that is a beautiful showcase of talent, athleticism, and this is what you should have in an Olympic show, not whatever this is. This is just look at the like this is two contradictory scenes, right? This is what you want, this is what you don't want. And I think both can be just explained very well in these two scenes. This is what we want in the Olympics. This is what we don't want in the Olympics because it's not relevant. Oh God, and these people are just running around like a bunch of idiots doing absolutely nothing. Oh yeah, and then this weird gay stuff. Of course they're all gays because gay sex is part of the Olympics in France. I think that's what they're encouraging because they had this no like anti-sex bits or something. But I don't think they're anti-gay sex. I think it's just anti-straight sex. They might have figured out how to do that. They drew a heart in the sky, very cute. And marching band. Finally, some marching band stuff, which we got like 5, 10 seconds of before they deleted, and we never see them again. And then we get this. I mean, it hurts my soul. At least, are they even coordinated? Are they even? Okay, never mind. Never mind. You see, there is a reason marching bands are respected because it's a showcase of discipline and coordination, right? There's actually a bit of talent involved. If you guys don't know, if you guys had never marched in your lives, let me tell you that there's actually a bit of talent involved in being in a marching band, especially one that has like, plays music, drums, trumpets and whatnot, right? There's actually a bit of skill involved because there's a lot of coordination required to march this perfectly in synchrony. And this is also a thing that they showcase in the China Olympics, where there's I think a huge band of drummers. I think the largest group of drummers I've ever seen, and they were all drumming together in synchronized manner. And then the lights go out, and I think they have these glow sticks in their hands, and they're still glowing, and you can see the how synchronized they are with the way the sticks are waving in the dark. And it was absolutely gorgeous to see. So those are the kind of things you want, and then we get At least try to be synchronized, girls. Jeez. Okay. And then whatever this was happens. And then you have more people coming in on ships. Yeah, more people just coming in on ships. Yeah, okay, fine. More countries. And you see, this is the crowd. This is the crowd up there. See that? That's the crowd. Yeah, yeah, that's the crowd. That's how much the crowd is enjoying the show. You see them? Do you see anyone cheering? Do you see anyone screaming, jumping? Do you see anything like that? You don't, right? Because you only get that when you're not holding an umbrella for 2 hours in the rain and you're not soaking drenched, tired, hungry, in the cold. Yeah. Like a Great Britain coming in. You see the crowd? Do you see the crowd move? Just like these many people moving, and that's it. They're just dead. The crowd is so dead. It's just so out of place with what's happening. So disconnected. Oh God, it's just so bad. Yeah, I don't know how we went through this. The minions might be the most lively thing in this Olympics, and they have absolutely nothing to do with it either. This lady was singing from the top of this dome building. I forgot the name of the building. I'm so sorry. I had it in my head a few seconds ago, but I completely can't remember what it was now. But before I butcher it, this was beautiful woman singing from the top of that. Again, completely disconnected from the crowd because the crowd can barely see her. Like if you're standing somewhere, I don't know, like see the video pan, right? So if you stood somewhere, I don't know, along this area, you're kind of lucky because no, actually you're not. You can't see beyond the trees, so you wouldn't be able to see her anyway. Yeah, forget it. You can't see her. So the best seat for this was either Macron's, his wife's, or your TV at home. Yeah, those were the best seats. Like you sit on your couch at home, watch your TV. Honestly, you get a much better view. Or if you're just on your phone, like in the crowd, but on your phone, watching this on live stream, you get a better view of what you can actually see from standing there in the crowd, and that's the truth. And having all these women show up. Wait, did they do one for the men? Did any men show up from these? Or was it just like a feminist thing? I think it's a feminist thing because I think it says some of these people were clearly just feminists, right? Lawyer activists. Oh yeah, the activists. Okay, that helps. Yeah, of course they're activists. Is this also an activist? Journalist, writer? No, she seems like a sweet woman. Explorer. Oh, I know this. Jean Barrett. All right, this actually has some pretty awesome novels about her. Woman of letters. There's question marks. People barely know about her, but I've seen her picture somewhere, I'm sure. Another activist, is this? Yes, it is. Anarchist and feminist activist. Guess what, guys? Feminism has begun in 1800s. Oh, hell yeah. Another one is a film producer. Her name is Alice Guy, though. That's interesting. Why she didn't change her name to Alice Gal? She should have done that, right? So non-feminist. Yeah, yeah. Go after her, feminists. Get her. And then that's what happened. I don't know. Like for some reason they revealed a bunch of random women. No context given. I think the commentator in this one also struggled to explain what the hell was happening. He was honestly doing his best. I think I was watching this in both English and was this Bahasa Malaysia, and I think I also one that was translated in I can't remember what language, Dutch or French or something. I was watching like a translated version of it. But those were the only videos I could actually get of this event just to see what the commentators are saying or at least trying to say. And man, the commentators really struggled with this one. They had no idea. They were so disconnected. They were like trying to explain everything that was just popping up on screen without knowing what they even meant. I don't think it was even in their like itinerary to mention these things, to know what these events even meant. Like that's how poorly they were educated over these events. Like and quite frankly, like when you design something well, you don't really need much context to it to explain it. But when things are so confusing and out of place and not normal, it's very, very difficult to try to come up with the right words to even transition, even pivot, to even make sense of certain things that you see. And I think shortly after this, you have Liberia. Oh, okay, Libya. All right, all these countries coming in. Awesome. Again, it's very nice to see these people on ships having fun, but they were the only ones having fun because you see these people who paid extra, who owned the country in the shaded area. They were the ones who were enjoying it. Some people were intense, and the rest of them were just drenched in the rain. Yeah, so if you can see, this is a very good aerial view to explain to you how money and power works, right? You see money and power here, they have shades, right? And they're the ones who obviously didn't have to pay for the tickets because they own the country. Apologize if I'm mistaken. You probably paid for your tickets, but you can pay for everything else, of course. But that's where they were, and then the rest of the poor people are in the open stands, just soaking drenched in the rain because you guys couldn't use your bloody brains to organize this in a sense where your guests actually feel comfortable and welcome under a shaded stadium because that's where they ended up in the end for the actual event. So having this in the open on a day that you could not predict whether it was going to rain was one of the worst things that any organizer can do, let alone the one of the biggest events, if not the biggest event in the world, the Olympics. The freaking Olympics, and you squander this. This was an absolute disaster, a nightmare, and I think this is what France is going to be remembered for at least until I don't know this generation dies. There's no way that this will ever be forgiven or forgotten, because you must understand when China Olympics started, it was also a monumental day for China because a lot of people had forgotten or were a little bit disconnected about China because of the media, and the Olympics actually allowed China to showcase themselves as this. Sort of metropolitan, advanced country and nation that has grown over the years, so technologically powerful, one of the upcoming superpowers, and a very civilized nation, very organized, very amazing, very well planned, and they really showcased that in the way they hosted their Olympics. And that is the best way to do that. It's only a once in a lifetime opportunity certain countries get, right? And China got it and they did it, and now everyone talks about China, 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 how they're so amazing, how they got all this tech. They brought in so many businesses to the country, and the same goes for all the other countries that actually hosted the Olympics. If Brazil did not already have a mark in the world, they were even more famous after the Rio Olympics. And this chain of events goes on. And when you start at a bad spot like this, with what France has done, it's pretty much over. There's really no other. Like, this dude was doing his best in the rain. If anything, I was really impressed at how he just did not slip. Like this dude really knew what he was doing, and I'm sure he practiced for this like with blood, sweat, and tears because he was absolutely not having it in the rain. Yeah, he was just singing and dancing and having fun. Look at him, it's just soaking wet. Look at that. He's just drenched, but he's just going at it. Even the camera is drenched. There's water droplets all over it. I'm sure the cameraman is just soaking as well, just drinking the rain instead of his water in the cup or something. And then here's Malaysia. Here is Malawi, Maldives, and all these countries show up. All this went somewhat smoothly, I guess. And then who's this guy actually? I don't know who's let the uncle out, but it's pretty cool. He reminded me of Pitbull or whatever. And again, all these singers and whatnot, it is a showcase of talent because singing is a talent. It uses great vocals. There is some, level of practice to it. You got to be good at dancing sometimes. You got to know how to what do you call this, control the crowd. And you must understand this is an element that was showcased in a lot of historical stories, right? The Olympics, be it in Rome, be it in ancient Greece, in a lot of events, be it gladiator events, sporting events, whatever this is. If you know how to work the crowd, you can actually become the crowd's favorite, the people's favorite, and in a way that already makes you a champion. And so that's one of the reasons why I have huge respect for singers who are able to control these kinds of ceremonies. And the one that always comes to mind is Shakira back in the FIFA World Cup. Holy crap, that was one of the best damn World Cup events I've ever have seen in my life. And it was amazing. Shakira was able to work that crowd like no other that I've seen after her at least. And it's pretty amazing. So yeah, this guy he did his best, but again, we can't hear the crowd cheering for him because the crowd is just drenched in rain and they're just not focusing. And then we get this one. Now, here's the thing, right? This is definitely not going to be her last supper, and if anything, there's not enough for supper for the rest of them. And this has absolutely no place, not just in the Olympic events, but you know, just in any event for that matter. You want to do this in your own private or your own display of art in a museum. Express your freedom of speech. Mock another religion. Go ahead and do it, but not when you are the host. Be a nudist, but not when you are the host. You don't welcome people with your dick flapping in the wind, right? That's not the way to go. You got to understand that people have boundaries, people have civilization, people have values, and there's give and take. And there's a reason why you learn to interact with people. Like this is such common sense stuff. I can't even find the words to make even more sense of it because it's just such a simple thing. A 10-year-old can look at this and ask their parents like what on earth am I watching? Because quite frankly, that's what adults thought. We were like, what on earth are we watching? And if anyone thought that this is normal or sane and if this is okay and great for them to do, I'm sorry, you're sick, you need help, and before it's too late, please go and get some because you are part of the reason this world is just going to hell, right? And I don't mean that from a religious perspective, I mean that from a literal perspective because this is hell on earth. This is when people have lost track of the purpose of why they're doing a certain thing that they're doing and why they even exist, right? And again, I think it's important we start to roll back time a little bit and having this like pride parade fashion show in the middle of the Olympics is completely irrelevant to the event, right? Can you imagine if China had all of a sudden a lantern festival or a mooncake eating festival, or or a Yulin. What's the dog one? The one where they eat Yulin dog festival, right? Can you imagine if they called over the America for like the Olympics and they're having a Yulin dog festival in the middle of the Olympics where they're just displaying people walking around with dog dishes like this? Where is it? Where is that piece of shit? Where is that little? Where is that freaking hellscape? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, God damn it. Did I miss that thing? Okay, there we go. Yeah, okay. Can you imagine if they just played it up a bunch of dog here and say that, hey, it's part of our culture. Why don't you guys try some? They're pretty awesome. We got sweet sour dog here. We got kam hyong dog. We got a salted egg dog. And then we got butter prawn, sorry, butter prawn. We got butter dog here. Dried and wet style. Which do you guys prefer? So if you guys understand that nuance, that means you're still sane. You have some IQ and probably some EQ as well, and probably some intelligence to understand that this was one of the weirdest things that has happened and should never happen again. And this is a perfect example, again, of what not to do. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I really hated this, and I hated doing this as well, but I really had to get this out. Sorry, I was watching Asmongold. Honestly, I was just enjoying myself watching Asmongold, and this just couldn't get out of my head. I was just like, oh God, I really got to check the news, and then these were all the articles. Paris is now sorry, apparently, for this. Like, why are you guys apologizing? You should double down and be the dicks that you are. Like, there's no reason to apologize. We already know what you are. The cat's out of the bag. You already ruined this for yourselves. The whole world has seen it. The Olympics is still going on. Like, suck it up and be a good host. Stop apologizing to the world globally, right? And just beg for mercy because you have been judged and it's over. You can forget about investments, you can forget about advertisements. People are probably never going to visit your country again. And trust me, I did read in the comments people actually canceling their tickets to visit France. Like people literally said, I have canceled my tickets. I'm never going to Paris. I plan to go to Paris with my wife, with my girlfriend, with my fiance, whatever it is, right? People are no longer doing it. They're no longer going to go there because it is over. And yeah, there's really no other way to look at it. And man, I really miss the good old days when, even this again, as extravagant as it may be, look at this, the choir and this kids coming up and singing. Like all this is amazing stuff. You should showcase real talent like this. Bring your people around your country, showcase the talents that they have. Like this women on stills and this guy doing hip hop dance. Where are those kids singing in the choir? God damn it, did I lose them so fast? Did they have such a short frame of a scene that I couldn't even catch them? Damn, I really missed them, did I? Okay, never mind. That's just Brazil introducing themselves, all the countries coming in. Like these are great. These are other country introductions, which is absolutely fine. But you being the host, you got to be tolerant. You can't serve meat when you're hosting vegetarians. You gotta ask around. You gotta be understanding. You gotta know that people have boundaries. I can't just serve non-halal meat when I'm having a Muslim friend over. It just makes sense, right? You can't be brain dead when you're hosting things like these. You gotta, you've paid so many millions of dollars to your council to actually counsel you. Use them and just grow up seriously and be a bit more civilized, France, because you're actually gone back in civilization. You have gone back in a journey through time. And look at this. This is 1912. These people look more organized. Look at this. Look at that. Look at the sync. Look at the sync in not just these guys, but also the marching band. Look at that. This is the kind of discipline and talent that the Olympics brewed. right? It showed people the importance of sportsmanship, which allowed people to come together for a common cause, and that is to compete responsibly in a cultured manner, in a civilized manner, and let that bring in investment, bring in a new generation of youth, a stronger generation and a healthier generation of youth, encourage people to do more sports. And that was actually the whole point of it. But we have lost all of that. We have lost the point of the Olympics. France, at least, has lost the plot. So yeah. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and thanks for bearing with me. I'm going to go back to watch Asmongold. See you guys the next one. Take care.